Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Christian Show. My name is Ben Pett, and I'm your host. And guys, I am so freaking hyped. We've been trying to get this dude on the show in the past couple of weeks, and finally he was able to clear his schedule and cancel a few fan meetings and the media and the press and everything, and we have him on the house. And as a matter of fact, this dude, guys, is really unique. You're not going to find a lot of guys like this guy in the space. Number one, he's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a.k.a. LDS or Mormons. Don't use the word Mormons because that's not their real name. And he's also an MMA fighter, and also he has one arm. So you don't see a lot of those guys. And he's actually the first LDS one-arm MMA fighter, black gay male that you're ever gonna. I'm kidding. We got Reggie in the house. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm so happy to be here, man.
Hey, thanks for taking the time, dude. Dude, that's dope. We're the same age. I'm 26 too.
Ritz?
Yeah, I just got married like 2 months ago. I was like looking at your stuff. I didn't know you had 3 kids too.
Yeah, I mean, I have
You
like
don't-
a
you don't
personal
post them
page
a lot?
on Facebook. Also, like, I'll do like a bunch of my family stuff there, but that page is like primary fun.
It's an MMA? Okay.
Wife and kids. Family's real big for me. Obviously,
sure.
even before I like, became a member, it only solidified it more. I was like, eternal families? Yes.
Were you a convert?
Yes. I was 18 when I converted.
Dude, I'd like you even more, dude. All right, tell me the story. Why are you LDS, dude?
Yeah, so when I was in like high school, I had eventually hit a point where I was really curious because I'm American. Christianity is massive here, but I don't want to say it's like super similar to Joseph Smith, but I was like,
What were
I
you
wanted to
raised,
go-
like Catholic?
no, my
nothing?
parents, my
Muslim?
mom was the spiritual type. She believed in a higher power. She believed in God,
Okay.
but not like a church. My dad, I think he had an uncle he had a Baptist church, I believe, or something like
Baptist,
it,
okay.
non-denominational, I think it was.
Tennessee, right? Is that where you were born and raised?
Arkansas. I was born in Minnesota, but
Minnesota.
I was raised in Arkansas my whole life. So
Okay, Tennessee. Okay.
the church was actually in Missouri. It was like the place I live in Arkansas, like the borders of the reciprocal. It's only like 10, 15 minutes away from where the church was. So I grew up in that area. So there's a lot of different churches and options. And I was like, let me check out this Lutheran place. It's Baptist. I was Baptist for a while, actually. Presbyterian, I looked at the Catholic stuff, but a lot of it, it's just like something's missing. And then
Well, what do you mean something was missing? What was missing? The community? You were reading the Bible and something didn't align, or what was the thing that was missing?
the Bible. There was stuff that just didn't make sense to me. Namely, baptism for the dead. And I read over like that verse, like 1 Corinthians 15.
Yeah, when Paul
verse
is
29.
talking about, yeah.
I'm like,
okay.
I remember when I was Baptist, I'm talking to different people in my youth class. I'm like, why are they talking about this? What does this even mean? They say, oh, it's nothing. It's just something that we aren't really sure what it's talking about. And it's like, that seems kind of important. They're talking about this. I'm trying to get context about it.
Interesting.
So, and then my girlfriend, she wasn't my girlfriend yet. And the thing is, I was actually so mean at her for the longest time. But she liked me so much. I'm just like, why? I'm like a terrible person. I think at least. But then I don't know. I was like, she's pretty. Let me get this shot. I was like, we talking about church. So you come to my church first. We'll try it out.
Oh, she LDS?
Yes, but she was also she was also a converted. So, but she converted when she was younger. Like me, I think
So
around.
how
10,
long did it
12.
take you to get baptized? Like, how long were you with the missionaries for?
Couple months.
Okay, so why'd you get baptized? Like, what was the thing of you were like, dude, I read this, I prayed this, I felt this, I saw this, I heard something. Like, what was the thing?
What it was for me was first, I think living prophets like that continuing made sense.
Made sense.
Okay. Like priesthood, like that made sense to me.
Yeah,
So it's
authority.
like,
Okay.
why are we done away with apostles? Bishops are not the same as apostles, so why do we equate that? And it just didn't make sense to me. That's the whole Catholic ordeal for me. That was like the main thing there. But it was also, I had a massive question. Baptist church, this I didn't like the answer they gave it. I was like, okay, what about this guy in China? Family, never heard of Jesus. What do we do with that?
You were asking those questions?
The only reason I did because there was a Wednesday. There were I had a question for my youth pastor.
Which I'm not saying is bad. I'm just saying
Yeah,
I think it's a great question.
yeah.
For what I see now is that most people, even LDS people, but most people that believe in Christ and God, they don't really read the Bible,
Yeah,
nor they come up with smart questions like that, the one that you just asked.
there was just stuff like it had to make sense to me in terms of I don't believe God would only want to save the elect, a few of His children,
Fully.
and I just didn't. It didn't make sense to me that if He did create us, like a lot of them would say, why would He have most of us damned? That bothered me so much, and I'm just like, that cannot be the case. And that's kind of the answer I got at the back. He didn't just flat out say it. Like, you guys didn't say it, but it was more along the lines of, everyone will have the opportunity in their life to accept Jesus Christ. But I was thinking, no, they don't. Not everyone gets that chance, unfortunately. And it's like, well, if they aren't baptized and believe on the name of Jesus Christ, I don't know. I'm just like, that's not right. And that sounds awful. Then it's like, why would the guy we call the savior of the world only intend to save a few people? Because most people, what's the demographics of it, like the percentage of the world that's actually Christian versus people who have different faiths? It's just there's a large disparity, and I don't think a loving, merciful, just God would just damn the rest of humankind because they didn't understand Him.
So you just had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And none of these denominations, pastors or leaders or whatever that you go to could satisfy the questions that you had, pretty much.
Exactly. But ultimately, what sealed it for me, it wasn't so much my answers getting the questions it wasn't the answers I was getting, which really did help a lot. There was this missionary dude. The first Sunday I was there, I've heard of people talk about the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit. I think that was the first time in my life I experienced it in such force.
Yeah, that's
It
cool.
was one of those things like I don't know what it was. There was just this feeling like, yeah, this is legit. And I learned about that same Sunday. I was like, okay, baptism for the dead. Like, what's this? So what's this talking about? We go into it. I'm just like, okay, they're talking about he sees a dude in the third heaven. What is this talking about?
Dude,
oh,
that's
it's going
so
to talk about the degrees
funny,
of glory. We're going to play the salvation. I'm just like,
That's
it
so
was
funny.
all just coming in. It's like, this is amazing.
You know, it is funny. Wait, let me just fix this thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
It is funny because I've been a member. My parents were Catholics growing up, like same thing and stuff.
Mhm.
I got baptized when I was a kid, but my mom gave me the Book of Mormon when I was 16. She just told me, if you want to know, like read about it, pray it, and go to God, and like then figure it out on your own. And I did that, and it took me a year to read it, and then I had my own witness through the Spirit that the Book of Mormon was true. Now, I served a mission in Uruguay, and I came back almost 5.5 years ago, and I've read the Book of Mormon 10 times. I'm on my 10th time right now. And I've read the New Testament never cover to cover. I've read a lot of it, but never cover to cover. And this is the year that I was like, you know what? I got as I told you, I just got married. So with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, but we're like, we got to figure out what we believe in. And I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to be wrong. I'm going to go back to what Christ said. Why do we have prophets, temples, authority, like all this stuff?
Yeah.
And dude, I was digging deep in the New Testament, and it was very surprising because it took me about like 2 months, 2.5 months.
Mhm.
And I found like 10 to 15 different truths about, like, wait, he talked about baptism for the dead. There's authority being passed here. Like Peter went to the temple, and actually the apostles, like prophet, apostle, 12 apostles. He called 70s. I had no idea there were 70s in there. Friggin' the laying on hands to give the gift of the Holy Ghost, like, which is a separate ordinance after you get baptized.
Yep.
Like, you're not self-proclaimed of like, oh yeah, I have the authority, freaking hocus pocus, give it to me. No, it was passed on. And all these different things. And I was like, crap, like I put all this stuff together, and I was like, who has not just 1, 3, or 5, but all of them? And there was only one place. It was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Exactly.
And there's still a lot of things that, you know, there's people have imperfections wherever you go.
Oh yeah,
David
for sure.
friggin' was a prophet, killed his general, sleep with his wife, but still was a prophet. Peter denied Christ 3 times, is still apostle. So
Exactly.
he's like, the church has a lot of things by
Oh, yeah,
imperfect
I
people,
agree.
but
Uh,
the doctrine, there's
exactly.
nothing like it.
Exactly.
There's
And that
nothing like
was
it out there.
like that's a
So,
massive thing for me. And I mean, as a black member, you know, eventually, yeah,
yeah, but
because
you're
I
not that black though.
that's fair. Because
I'm
you
kidding.
grow up in the South. There's people like different Baptists or different people with different church. They're like, you know what they think about? You know what Mormons think about black people? I was like, what are you talking about? You know what? They say you guys couldn't get to heaven. You were less valiant, and they were saying all this stuff. So I'm getting the digging. I find out about like race and priesthood, and for a while that shocked me,
Did,
and I
did
was
he?
just like,
Okay.
why? And I'm trying to make sense of it, and ultimately, I just get to the fact that like, well, Brigham Young was a man. He is not God. He is bound to make mistakes. Or I don't even think of it as entirely that because it wasn't something that came by revelation. So I never look at it as that wasn't doctrine.
Well,
It
but
was a practice that was done, I guess.
don't you think it's funny because I do a lot of college campuses debates and I talk
Sure.
a lot
Go
about
ahead.
religion and LDS stuff because I think it's so true that everybody needs to hear about it. And when it comes to that, he's like, because I did also read a lot of that Joseph made, like the whole getting married multiple times to the blacks and a lot of things. I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
you know, that's kind of messed up. But guess what? With the blacks, everybody was racist back in the time.
He-
He's like, you
heavy in
heavy.
Protestant
He's like,
culture.
but you go back to the New Testament, and a lot of people bring like the blacks and the church and everything. I'm like, dude, freaking Paul was writing letters to the slaves and telling them, hey, be a good slave and obey your master.
People look over the Old Testament and like God literally gave you guidelines upon how to treat your slaves.
Yeah. And
People overlook it and it's like,
now I'm not justifying what
right,
happened to black
right, but I'm
people
just
by any means,
right,
but
no,
it's understanding the context of the situation that you're in,
true.
like back in the day.
And I look at stuff like that too, and I try to like give it perspective. And I think, well, if I lived in the 1800s and I was told that I can't get it at this certain time, and I know ordinances work after I'm dead later on, someone will be able to do that. It was a glorious time, 1970, by the way. But I think, well, the U.S. is kind of hostile to black people at the
Yeah,
moment. Imagine I didn't try to go serve in a certain part of the U.S. I get hard. So I'm thinking, well, while it was not something that came by revelation or the pegs, I feel like it was heavily influenced by Protestant culture in the U.S.
for sure.
It happened, and it changed because this is a church that is
Continuing
it,
revelation.
continuing
Yeah,
revelation. It's Christ church restored upon the earth, and the things that we've gotten wrong, revelation is telling to correct that. Because for a lot of times, I mean, people still think temples are unnecessary, and we know that they are. And Joseph Smith getting revelations upon how like the temple ordinances and to build a temple, it's an ongoing thing. It's a
yeah,
continuing process. So I never look at it like, why did God do this? God didn't do that.
yeah. That's cool, dude. That's cool. Are your mom and dad, are they both African Americans? Or
Yes.
is it okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
and for a while, until I moved out, probably, and my parents were not fans of me joining the church. Well,
Really?
not my dad was. He was okay with it. He was like, "Well, they're good people. They seem like good people." But my mom was, "You're joining a cult." I was like,
Everybody, yeah.
every everybody says that.
Yeah, for sure.
So so she got really mad at me for a while because I was trying to talk to my brother to get him baptized,
Are you the
and
oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Youngest?
That's
Okay.
so, and he's the brother who was directly over me. So he was around me the most. He was like, Reggie, I want to know more about this. I'm just like, are you sure? Because we could talk about it. So he eventually did get baptized, and we had some really good
Oh, he
experience.
did?
Yeah, he did. My mom, I was surprised. She actually came to my mom and dad actually came to the baptism because
That's sick, dude.
they were like, we're not going to do
That's
that.
cool.
They did, and that made me really happy. If I
Did you
can't
serve
get
a
them in
mission?
this lifetime, I'm gonna get them baptized.
You're,
I
yeah.
did not. I wish that's maybe the only regret I have is not serving a mission, dude.
Because when'd you get married?
I got married when I was 20.
Oh, when you were you got married young. I mean, that's cool if you
Yeah.
got married.
So when I was 18, before I got baptized, I was getting internships, stuff lined up for like my career path, and I was like, I don't know that I know everything that I should before I serve. I wasn't confident, and maybe that was not really an excuse for it. Looking back, I wish I did do it, but I'm happy with the way things are. I got married young,
Dude,
I have many kids.
yeah,
I can't wait
1000%.
to keep growing my family. It's just like, yeah. And I think the a branch I was at, that a lot of people weren't happy with me not doing it. They were like, "You've been a good missionary and all this stuff," but I'm just like, I get that, I do. I just didn't want to do it. I know it sounds terrible. I just didn't want to do it. Not that I didn't think it wasn't true or something. I didn't think that at all. I think people should want to serve, but stuff just I felt brand new to the still. So I was like, I don't know. And it was just too much me thinking back and forth. Maybe I should have prayed on him, you know? But
I mean, dude, the Prophet Nelson didn't go on a mission. And I'm not saying, I tell everybody, every guy should go on a mission. It's the coolest experience.
I agree.
What most people takes them learn, they learn in 10 years, you learn it in 2. If you actually make that experience,
True.
the most out of it. But, you know,
Some of the best people who I've encountered in my life, people who helped me along my faith journey, have been missionaries.
yeah.
So
But, dude,
I'm
it's
extremely grateful
exceptions.
for them.
You know,
So,
we all have a different
current
path.
prophet of the church, by the way, did serve a mission, wasn't a stake president, wasn't an area 70 or a 70. He wasn't. Now he's
Yeah.
a prophet of the church. By the way, shout out President Oaks. Love
He
that.
didn't
Yeah.
serve a mission either?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
Me either. Till recently.
Hey, but I have another question for you. What happened to your hand? What happened to your arm? Were you born like that
Long
or
story short,
something?
it was birth. It wasn't necessarily genetic. It was more so I forget the actual medical condition, but there was something with my umbilical cord. They said it got wrapped around my neck and face. They said somehow while I was in the womb, 6 months along or something like that, I used my left arm to like shimmy it up my neck and face to get the umbilical cord off. It like traps my arm, breaks it off, a part of my arm that goes off the withers of weight or something, and I regrow a portion of my arm, and that part is gone. But I end up having a nub versus
Yeah.
being headless.
So
Essentially, birth.
you fight MMA. What's the dream with MMA? As I told you, there's not a lot of LDS athletes and LDS athletes that are good, and then
Right.
MMA athletes, LDS, and that you didn't. I mean, you have one hand, so it's like, what's
Right.
the dream that you're trying to pursue with it?
I want to be a pro champion, ideally on the highest level possible. Ideally, I want to make it to the UFC one day.
Okay, are you
I
still
do
amateur,
want
right?
to actually do that because there was one guy who almost made it, Nick Wool. I know him actually. Talked to him a little bit. Really cool dude. He was a pro MMA fighter. He fought in Bellator, PFL. He fought Justin Gagey, and he actually did pretty good. So I'm learning from Jake Peacock, who fights in one championship. He's a Muay Thai fighter. He's got one hand and dude's super clean. So I'm like using different people who kind of came before me to fully form this path to show, hey, you may have been born with less here, but that doesn't make you less, you know?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm still have to protect my family. At the end of the day, I'm still have to provide for my family. Those don't break in my house and feel sorry for me that I got one hand. You know, rob me. So no, not even let that happen.
Well, are you still amateur or pro?
Amateur at the moment. I'm going pro next year.
Next year. And that's what I wanted to ask you, dude, because, you know, there's a lot of, we live in a society right now, like people our age and younger than us, in their 20s or 18, 19, 21, whatever, guys and girls, that we live in a crisis of victim mentality.
Oh, yeah.
And when it comes to you, you know, you are competing in literally the hardest sport you can possibly be in my personal opinion, which is MMA and fighting, and being in some sort of disadvantage physically, that I just want to know the story. Have you always thought like that? Like, screw you guys, I'm going to prove you wrong and I'm going to kill you pretty much in the cage and I'm going to beat you up, which I've seen your content. You're not just like a decision type of guy. You're pretty aggressive in your
Yeah.
style of fighting. You're knocking people
It's
out and you're even wrestling. I'm like, what the heck? Like you're out wrestling people
yeah.
that have
True.
2 arms. That's nuts. And
Yeah.
you're just throwing them around. So I'm like, well, do you leave part of your life as a victim of like, poor me, I have 1 arm, I'm never gonna amount to anything, and blah, blah, and like play the victim? Or you're always being like, nah, dude, like, give me this, I'm gonna make the most out of it and screw everybody else?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that my mom actually helped instill in me when I was really young. Because I played football growing up, basketball for football and basketball for like little league and then for my high school. So it was never about poor me. It was all about now I'm going to do it a little differently. So I did. I started at cornerback and free safety. My brother played. I either played outside linebacker or cornerback with him, or I played free safety. He played strong safety. So I was accustomed to reading the field. I got one hand, but I feel like God also was like, let me give you like extra brain power or something when it comes to sports or something. I was able to read the field super easy in football, being able to understand where the ball is going. It even helps me in MMA. I'm super aggressive, yes, but I go
It's
into
just unpredictable. Like, I'm just thinking, crap, if I fight a guy that has one, I don't, like, how do I prepare for that?
That's
How
another
the fuck
thing
do
that
I
goes into
prepare for
account.
that?
I can get other looks from how like a 2-armed person would fight because people who can mimic that style. How do you mimic a 1-armed fighter without a 1-armed fighter to have? It's like how do you do that? So
So she
that's another
trained,
thing to go to that.
it was mainly your mom that instilled in you that mentality of like, dude, you're not a wuss, you're gonna make the most out of it.
Oh yeah,
Because
and
did you
with
ever
my mom.
struggle growing up? Like, dude, poor me, like women, or I have 1 arm, or sports.
So
Like, did that ever cross your mind?
apparently, when I was really really young, when it first happened, there was one day I remember this too. I think there was one day when I was really young. It was like kindergarten. I came home crying from school. The kids were making fun of me, saying I got 1 arm, and that bothered me as a kid. I'm just like, I didn't ask for this, and that's when my mom. She says she's not like she's not Christian or nothing, but she had a presence for me growing up. It says God didn't think you needed 2 arms, and He gave you one. He said you're going to be good with it, and that alone helped me it's so much what I do. And also playing football. I think the first time, my first day at football practice, the coach asked my mom because my both of my brothers are there. They're playing and they're asking. I asked my mom about me. Is he coming to do the water board or something? She said, no, he's coming to play. So my mom was always a really big advocate for me and helping me do the things that I
Dude,
do.
that's so freaking awesome.
Yeah, I
That
love
is
it.
so
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of parents right now, and they're not involved in their children's mindset and development,
Mhm.
and they're not encouraging their kids of like, dude, just freaking show up. You got to do what you got to do, and
Exactly.
instilling their confidence in their kids. I don't know if you've heard this story, but I forgot where I read this thing, but anyhow, there's this kid that it's born without a hearing, like he's deaf.
Mhm.
And the doctor's like, yeah, dude, he'll never be able to hear. Like, you're screwed. Like, just get used to it, whatever. And then his dad was like, F that. No, like, I refuse to accept that. Like, I just refuse to accept that. And he had a conversation with his wife, and he told her, hey, dude, hey, babe, like, he's going to hear. And we're going to brainwash ourselves, and we're not going to accept the reality that he's deaf. We're not going to treat him any
Very
different.
different.
We're not going to treat him like he's special. He will show up and he's going to use this as an advantage. So, dude, for years, the dad just had so much determination and would just instill in his kids'
I love that.
mindset somehow. Dude, you're blessed because of this. You're going to be better than other people because of this. Hey, like, go sell a newspaper and you're going to
Yeah,
use your deafness as an advantage and you're going to sell more than your brother. So he always instilled this is a blessing, not a curse. Long
that's
story
awesome.
short, the kid ended up starting to hear better. And then he ended up
Wow.
connecting with this company that it was like hearing aids. And he was one of the first cases in the US to use those hearing aids. And then the kid ended up becoming an executive at this big company and selling and making millions of dollars. And just because of his disadvantage. And because his dad instilled in this kid's mind, you will hear and you will use this as an advantage. It's not a disadvantage, it's a strength. And the kid just never played the victim, and he ended up making a tons of money because of it. And they just refuse to accept this is going to hurt us, and we're going to use it as a strength and something better instead of like a weakness or disadvantage or whatever.
Right.
Which I think is phenomenal. I applaud your mom for what she did with you, dude. I think
She
that's
did. She
great.
did a whole lot for me. My dad, he worked so much, so he just didn't. He was home on weekends. He drove trucks and stuff, and whatnot. And he was always a little nervous seeing me do stuff because he just didn't see me do stuff. So for a while, he had to get used to me like, Reggie can do that, because he was so used to like trying to help me out. And like, Dad,
so your mom would just expose you in different situations and environments that you're not going to feel sorry for yourself, and you got to perform pretty much.
And honestly, that's kind of how it got me into fighting. It was because of the whole people trying to make fun of me with one arm thing, and I was just like, I can talk back to you, but you're not shutting up. I'm gonna have to choke you now, kind of thing.
That's so funny.
I got in trouble a bit growing up because of it, but eventually got to a point where I just didn't have to do that. That people were trying to like talk crazy to my brother, and I was like, I got it. I'm gonna deal with it.
Dude, MMA fighters are the chillest guys. I always say that. I'm like, dude, we need a society with men that are good with violence, because the most dangerous guys that I know are the nicest, more kindness people in the world, and because like, they know there's a degree that if you cross the line, there's going to be violence. And they're pretty good at controlling themselves. It's usually the guys that are soft, that are toxic, or they're just super weak inside, that are very loud because they cannot control their emotions, and that they don't know how to defend themselves, so they got to use their mouth and everything else.
But I think that's a big distinction too when it comes to like being a peacemaker or being able to maintain peace. If you're just simply weak, cannot do anything. You need the ability to maintain order or to
establish and enforce peace too. Yeah.
And if you can't do that, you're not strong. Like what are you?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, that's something that really pisses me off. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up, because in the LDS culture here in Utah, and even with Christians or people with God or whatever, they're always like, yeah, peacemakers, peacemakers. I'm like, dude, you're the problem of why society is the way it is, because peace is established. I'll give you an example, very easy example, with police officers. Why are you not disrespectful to a cop when they pull you over? Because you know that if you not behave and you're a dick or mean to them, they're going to shoot you. They're going to shoot you. There's a degree of violence, and that's why you don't mess with them. It's the same thing of, if we have a lot of strong men and guys that are good with guns and good with combat sports, or they're violent, controlled, like it's an option, people are going to chill out. They're not going to mess with you. They're not going to have weird behaviors, or say that men can be women and women can be like, that stuff. It's gone. You know? So
honestly, it's too much of it. And I wish there was more pushback with it, because people will just kind of regurgitate the same stuff, but people aren't really, I don't think on a large scale, there's not a lot being done about it. So that really does bother me.
But it is, I mean, I see it all the time in the scriptures. In the Book of Mormon, peace was established by having strong armies, strong borders, strong men that were willing to kill and die to defend their faith and their families and their children and their faith. I mean, their God and their freedom. So I just think we have a lot of men that are just not like that, and they would rather be like, oh, be quiet or stop, don't say anything, and freaking call that peacemaking, which is not.
Yeah.
But going back to fighting, dude, so what's the mindset you adopt when it comes to MMA? Dude, you're beating people up. Like, it's really cool to see. You don't find a lot of guys that, because I love fighting, dude. I love MMA. I love watching stuff. I have a lot of friends that compete. And there's not a lot of guys that go and dominate. Maybe they'll win a round or two, go to a decision or submission. But when there's a pattern of, I'm going to dominate you and I'm going to manhandle you, which is a lot of your style of fighting for what I've seen.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry, brother.
No, I was gonna say, just what's the mindset? Because I could say, but dude, you don't have an arm. How the flip do you do that?
So how I go into it, I don't like there to be ambiguity. Also, I don't like leaving the decision up to the judges. In a real world scenario, I think about it as fighting is something that is necessary, but a life is at stake here. And no one's gonna be a judge in my house and say, Reggie, you won the fight, the thief has to leave now. That's just not how it's gonna work. My last fight was also a finish. I came by finish via round two. And the same thing is in my mind. I need to put this dude out. Whether I'm choking him out or I'm knocking
So
him out.
you walk with that, like, I'm gonna put you down.
Yeah, I never think about, oh, let me take my time, try to piece them apart, do this. Maybe I'll win this round. People are thinking of, they have this different mindset of, I have to come away with this round, put out this many strikes. No, I'm trying to. I'm not gonna say kill.
No, you
Oh,
did. It's the
so
reality. I'm trying to kill you. Because if you don't kill him, he's gonna kill you. It's your life.
Honestly, that's what it's like. I'm just like, no, I can't. I cannot leave any room for error. I'm in the back of my mind is, I have to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
That's
there's
really
nothing
what
wrong
it
with
is.
it.
And I wish the promotion I fought at, the company who did the fight for, let me get the footage. Still waiting to put it out. I got a video from somewhere in the crowd. The way the fight ended, think that the guy tries to run me, throw wild hooks. I dunk underneath it, spinning back kick, rocks him. Uppercut hooks, he drops down. I'm thinking, nope, he's not standing up. I'm about to punch a hole in his head. He dives from my legs, his neck's exposed. I'm thinking, okay, now he can't breathe anymore. So I'm choking him out. He taps the fight. So
Let me.
it,
I
it's the
have so
same
many
thing every
questions,
fight.
dude.
I always want to make sure I get it done.
Let me ask you this: how do you? What was that one loss that you had? Because I know you're 4-1 now.
Mhm. So there was a lot going on that day. And I live in Arkansas, but I've never fought in Arkansas. And I already have one hand, but the commission in Arkansas was requiring me to wear something. It wasn't like a glove, MMA glove, nothing. It was basically a thick overpass they had on my nub. They required me to wear. And my
Okay.
opponent didn't have to wear anything on his. Tennessee didn't make me wear anything. Mississippi doesn't make me wear anything. But Arkansas was like, you have to. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But then 10 minutes before my fight, the guy at the Arkansas State Athletic Commission was like, you can't swing with it now, brother. You can't throw headshots with it. I was like, that's the whole reason you made me get this thing
So you
and go get
couldn't.
it. And they was like, if you talk it out over your opponent, you can do it. I was like, okay. I talked to him. He said he was fine with it. But the whole reason, this is another thing. The guy I fought denied fighting me several times. I'm not gonna call him like that.
Call him out, bro. Call him
I
out.
tried to fight
Call
him
him
in
out.
different states before where I would not have to do that. Didn't take the fight. It takes the fight in a state with a commission that's really, really bogus. Anyways, I'm in the fight. I get taken down. I'm trying to wrestle, but then I feel this thick glove thing, my nub, getting grabbed on. I'm just like, oh, if this was a glove, how it is on my hand, that would be illegal. But they're not. They're treating it as something completely different. So I'm over here trying to. At the end of the round, arguing with the ref. He's grabbing onto this. He's like, it's legal. I'm just like, if he was grabbing onto the inside of my glove, that would be illegal. And I
And
go.
what number
Long
of
story
fight was
short,
that one? Was that your?
mentally, oh, go ahead. Sorry,
What number of fight was that one? Was that your first one you said, or your second one?
that was my
Third.
fourth fight. Mm. And
Okay.
and it was like more of a mental.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Somebody was
Sorry.
calling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel that strong, but mentally I wasn't there, and ultimately he just won the fight. So, I mean, props to him for executing. I want the rematch so bad. I want him to fight me again, mainly in Mississippi, because all rules it mimics pro rules in Mississippi. If he decides to go pro, I just go pro fight out in Mississippi. I'm like, okay, let's make the route sooner. You're fighting me again with the real rules. None of this, oh, you can't do this, Reggie, even though you already have one arm. No. Run
Do
it
do
back.
you, do
Run it
you have a
back.
lot of guys, opponents, or guys in I was gonna say in the industry, but on the sport that they overlook you because you have one arm?
Is not more so overlooked. They think about, ooh, he has one arm. They look at it as a lose-lose a lot of the time. They think, well, if I beat the guy with one arm, I'm not that good. But if I lose to a guy with one arm, I'm not that good. And me finally taking a loss, I'm grateful for that because no one talked like that about my opponent at all. They were like, yo, Reggie was dangerous. That was a good win. And then immediately after that, I got my next fight booked. That was the last fight that I won, actually. It got booked immediately after that. More people were willing to fight me because that, I guess, the stigma that existed around it went away. But I had a lot of fights that got booked that got canceled. And
Really?
people will claim, oh, I have an injury, or oh, this happened with this schedule, I'll be able to take off. Or they'll just be like, I can't fight anymore. On my topology, they showed a bunch of canceled fights, but there are more fights that are not showing on there. People just flat out said, I don't know. I want to fight. And they were like, you two guys need an opponent. This is here. They're just like, I don't want to fight. I'm just like, speak.
How'd you take that loss? How'd you take it mentally? Because
It,
you were on a 3 streak of
yeah.
finishing
I
people in the
mean,
first round.
it was hard at first. But I don't like losing. I don't like losing at all. But no, I took a moment to look at it. I'm like, well, I can use this as an opportunity, despite the restraints. I can use it as an opportunity to improve and come back stronger and have more drive. And it also allowed to be a certain pressure off my back because people expected me to always be the greatest. Because like I got one on me, like he's gonna do all this. It's like, let me be human. I lost.
Yeah.
So for a little bit, it was rough. But then I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go fight again. I'm not gonna let this loss linger. So I'm gonna go fight again. And then I won my last guy, so it felt fantastic.
That's cool, dude. You come from Taekwondo, right? That's
So
your
I do have a big background in it because I do it, still do it currently for Team USA. So I do para Taekwondo, and that's it's the same as the normal Taekwondo program. We'll travel to wherever where a tournament is to qualify to compete in the Olympics, which is it's just not as fun as MMA. I'm stop being honest. It's just not nearly as fun because the way the sport Taekwondo has developed over the years, it's just it's a little boring.
is it?
Yes,
That's cool, dude.
but
So
being able to travel to understand and like you see different people and cultures be able to do Taekwondo and how it helped me get more so in combat sports, I'm grateful for that.
Taekwondo, is that a more like you're not knocking or actually punching people with it, or you're
No,
like more like a
the way
points touching
yeah,
system type of thing?
it's a point system and it doesn't really have hard. And I could there's a certain threshold you have to kick to for like kicks to register and a certain way for magnets to score. But
So it's like karate type of thing?
um depends on the comp, but yeah, I think actual like Taekwondo itself can be very useful. It can be used in many ways for MMA, but the way it's just done by the Olympic community, it's just not good.
Is it like a really explosive movement? Because, dude, the gym I fight in here, there's a couple guys that they do karate growing up,
It
and I
there's a
hate
lot of
friggin'
lateral movement where it's
dude. They
yes.
just like quick, and they're always jumping and stuff. And it just pisses me off. It's like
Yes.
it's just
There is a lot of like it is good to be explosive. That helps you get your points up quicker, in and out motions. With
yeah.
the body taekwondo, they're similar in that matter. Oh, there is some good element, and that's also part of what keeps me aggressive. Because if I do start off like moving slowly, it's just darting across at them. So there are a lot of good things that's come out of taekwondo. I
Okay.
think.
How do you? Because, dude, I love that your mindset. I study sports a lot, and especially athletes and entrepreneurs. Like the main people that I relate to primarily,
Mhm.
and I'm just obsessed with the mindset part of it. And when it comes to the competitiveness and being aggressive and wanted to like, dude, I'm gonna kill you in but not in like a physical way, but the
Right.
mindset of it.
Right.
How do you develop that? Because I think a lot of guys are gonna listen to this video and gonna watch this video. One of my main mission is helping men be more of a provider, a
Mhm.
protector, and a leader, that we're desire and wired to win. And being competitive, being aggressive, wanting to win. 'Cause I'll ask you this: do you like winning more, or is it more that you hate losing? Which one
I
is it?
love winning.
You love winning?
Winning
Okay.
is better. Losing does honestly, it's
I
just
hate
as
losing, bro.
bad.
Genuinely, it just
Honestly, it's
pisses me
just
off.
as bad, but
It's just so annoying.
there's a euphoric feeling that comes with winning. It's like it's not about more so about being a sore loser, but you men naturally want men naturally compete. Really, that's just kind of that's just how we are,
Yeah.
right? So I think for people to develop this, you have to throw yourself in that environment first, because
Okay.
there's a lot of dudes, most men probably, who think they know how to fight or think they could
No, they
defend
don't. They
themselves,
really
and they
don't.
just hit
No.
nothing. They will talk crazy. I think once men are faced with reality, that will awaken in them. Because though I mean, let's be honest, the way society is structured now, people feel like it's not much of a need for it, right? So people dudes a lot of times just feel like, what's the point, right? I'll call the cops to help defending me when I'm on my own home and potentially my kids get like harmed. And it's just like, no, what do you mean? Protect your home, dude. Or there's just men are soft, and I think it's because society makes them a little too comfortable. I think people have to be faced with harsh realities, and once faced with harsh realities, that allows men to grow into more of what they're supposed to be. So if a man wants to be able to have that drive to quote unquote be ready to kill, you have to put yourself in that environment. Go to an MMA gym, see how well you do. It's gonna
Dude,
suck because if you can't fight, it'll suck a bit, but you will want to become better. You will become aware of where you at, how
it's
well you could
exposing. It's so
exactly.
the level of humility that comes out of you. It's insane. I was remember myself. I was running ultra marathons and Ironmans and 100 milers, 50 miles with broken feet, messed up meniscus, and doing all these
Ooh.
crazy endurance races. And I thought I was like big deal. Oh, dude, I'm a strong man. Freaking look at what I'm doing, inspiring, whatever. And I remember my best friend at the time who was fighting MMA, and he's like, dude, come to jiu-jitsu, come roll. And I started going, and dude, I got menhandled. Like it
That's how
was
it is. That's how it is
embarrassing.
at first. Yeah.
It was embarrassing, and I'm like, I just found like a new mindset and a new level of being a man of dude endurance races and all that mentality, which is very trendy right now. I
Mhm.
was like one of the first guys in like trying to get into that stuff, and then I was like, F it, dude, I'm gonna start fighting.
Real.
Like this is just
It's a whole
much.
different.
It's
Oh
just like
yeah.
a whole new level. Like I
Hmm.
don't care if I can run 100 miles. If I can't fight another guy and win, like I don't want that.
Exactly.
And I
So
even brought one of my best friends now, and he does bodybuilding. He's like a jack guy, and he always tells this story. He's like, dude, I was ripped and everything, to bodybuilding, first places and everything. And then I went with Ben to do jiu-jitsu, and he tapped me 4 times in under 2 minutes.
yes.
And he was like, screw bodybuilding. I'm useless.
Where my my old MMA gym, it was a part of like this bodybuilding gym where the people would do shows and stuff. So every now and then some of the bodybuilders would try to come in and be like, someone wrestle with me. And I'm just like,
Bro.
look at the coaches. Someone be like, all right. Or they're like, I want a box. I'm like, you sure? So I think for them, they also get hit with a dose of reality. Like your muscles aren't that useful if you cannot use them effectively. You can lift heavy weight, but you're not stopping someone from breaking your face. So it's
Do,
like, come
do
on.
you see that a lot in social media though? Like the bodybuilders are like, oh, dude, I'm 250 pounds. You're
Yeah,
what, 175? You probably walk around 190.
Yeah,
200?
I'm usually 195 or something like that. And I fight at
190?
welterweight, so I fight at 170.
Yeah.
So and the thing is, I've wrestled and like boxed with dudes who were like 200 plus 240 or something, who don't have any like, who don't know how to fight, and it's just like, this is embarrassing for you,
Dude,
man.
I'm 175, probably 180 now because I'm getting
Mhm.
probably 185 if I'm being honest, because I'm getting fat. I just broke my toe from fighting, and I haven't been able to train in the past like month, which has
Fair.
been depressing. And I'm just lifting now, but it's just lifting weights is just like the easiest thing in the world. Like I just miss fighting
No.
so much. But anyhow, I was rolling these one time, this big kid, huge, like big dude, fat guy. He's probably in his 20s. And before we started rolling, I'm like, hey, dude, how much you weigh? And he's like 270 or something like that. And I was 170 at the time. And
Really?
I'm like, oh, say, just so I can say that I tapped that 270-pound kid. And I tapped him like 4 times. And it's just like,
Yep.
not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of like, dude, if you know the skill, it can help you even facing
Yes.
people that are 100 plus pounds bigger than you.
Exactly. So true. So true.
So, and I think every guy should do it, dude. I think every male, dude, if you're a guy and you're listening to Reggie and myself, get yourself in a freaking MMA gym, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, actually MMA. Just any sort. Start with Jiu-Jitsu. I think is a great base and great to get
Honestly,
started.
if you can do MMA, fantastic. But if you can pick up any of them, if you can
Yeah,
do boxing, wrestling, jujitsu, if you can find a spot, please go.
I think it's
Do
just so good for
something.
you,
But
dude.
if you have nothing, come on. You gotta know how to do something.
And Reggie, I want to talk to you about a post that you made
What's up?
in March 31st, 2024. When you said, it's very, very inspiring. You said, it's so hard to describe how great it felt to finally step inside an octagon and really fight and win. People have always doubted my ability to fight, and understandably so. I have one arm. Why would I dare try sports, let alone combat sports? These weighted heavy on my mind. All I could think before and during the fight was maybe they're right. Maybe I do not belong here. But boy, were those voices wrong. I have never felt more alive. I have never belonged more. I have always been a fighter. The amount of hands I was born with didn't change that. This is only the beginning, and then you started thinking other people and stuff.
Mhm.
I want to talk about, because in life, whenever everybody lives an average life. Everybody lives a normal, likely, realistic life.
Mhm.
You right now, my friend, are on a path of the unrealistic, the unreasonable, the unlikely things to happen, a path that seems impossible, and that for somebody normal, you're like, dude, you're black, you have one arm. Who the flip do you think you are? You're gonna lose. Like, go get a normal job. You're in that path that you're defying the odds. And when you do that, you get a lot of comments, you get a lot of opinions, you get a lot of advices, you get a lot of family members and friends thinking of you and telling you, dude, you should do this for your greater good. We love you, and all these different voices that fill your mind when you know deep inside, I'm meant for something more, for greatness and something different. How do you deal with that? With all those voices that a lot of people that are, and it could be sports, it could be in entrepreneurship, it could be in business, it could be in whatever. Once you step outside of the norm, you will face that resistance. How in your life have you been able to overcome and deal with those challenges, doubters? I mean, people that doubt in you and just talk smack on whatever you're trying to do or how you look.
Yeah. So one thing that has really helped me recently, and was honestly thankful. The church plays a big part of it, but a lot of it was Prophet Russell and Nelson and his the talk Think Celestial.
Really?
So yeah, and it's mainly because I get I get worried of what people will think of me, or how people will perceive me, or what people think I should be doing. But then I think, well, no, I love doing this, providing for my wife and kids. What does it matter what they say? So honestly, I'm just like, well, you're not doing it. You're not trying to do anything, I mean, extraordinary. And yet you're trying to say that I shouldn't, or you're judging me for wanting to do it. No, I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. It makes me happy. My wife supports it. And that's another important thing.
I was gonna ask you, how is the relationship
Yeah.
with your spouse and how
You,
that goes?
without my wife, honestly, I'm not sure if I would be in MMA if it wasn't for my wife. It's not that she's like a real big fan of it. She is now, but having your wife be so supportive of your dreams, your ambitions, and her seeing that fire in you and her wanting to support that and to be like, yes, go train. I'm watching the kids. Go train. You have a fight coming up. Reggie, don't eat that. You have to make weight.
That's
She
cool, dude.
actively helps me with this stuff.
That's
So
cool.
having your partner in life, your partner, the person you're going to be with forever and throughout the time and eternity, you need to pick someone who will be there, like, and you can trust. If not for my wife, I don't know. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Dude, I think women sometimes they overlook the power and the influence they have on us, especially
They
men.
really do.
Like, dude, I was having this conversation with my wife the other day, and I told her, I'm like, dude, everything you say to me, I took it personal. Like, there's nobody. I'm like, I was like, I swear, I'm like, for everybody else, I'm this band leader, freaking and show up, and I know what I'm doing. With you, I'm a kid. Like, I'm a little
Right.
boy, and like I get offended by everything. Like, freaking, you tell me I hate you one day, and like my whole day gets ruined. Or you tell me, dude, you're the best thing ever, and then I want to conquer Germany. Like,
Nice.
women have the power to f your day, or build you up and encourage you the heck out of you.
It's so true, dude. It's so true.
And it's so, I don't think a lot of guys, they take a lot of emphasis, or they become picky when it comes to it, and they just want to sleep around or pick somebody who's hot or whatever. Or even that, when I go to college, I always talk about this stuff because I always get women that are more like, dude, from feminism, or guys in this abusive and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, listen, I'm not saying because you're a guy, people should listen to you and you should be the leader right away. I think when it comes to guide, yeah, it's part of your role, becoming the leader, the providing their and the
Yes.
protector. But I love this document. And when I go talk to college students, this is exactly what I quote.
Amen.
And it says here, by divine design, fathers are to preside over the families in love and righteousness. What does that mean? Leadership, being a leader in your family, and having a girl that can follow you, and you know where you're going because of your vision and purpose. You got to earn that. It doesn't come just because you have a wiener and friggin' you're a guy and you can do whatever the heck you want and tell the woman what to do and whatever. You got to become somebody that women want to follow because they feel the energy, they feel your faith, and they feel safe with you, and they know that you know where you're going. And I don't
Mhm.
think a lot of guys have earned the right to become a leader worth following.
No.
And we have a lot of guys that lack traits of a strong leader. And I mean, I talk about that stuff a lot. I'm like, guys, become a leader worth following. It's not just becoming a leader, it's becoming a leader worth following. And somebody that, a woman with those traits of supportive, nourishing, that dude will change your life, will feel comfortable with, you know? So,
And that's like
um,
the other wonderful thing about women. Once you were mastering those roles, and the women are also flourishing in their roles, what you guys are able to do together and accomplish is exponential.
dude, it's
That's why we need each other, and to be
yeah,
able to function at your capacities. Men, you need to lead, yes, and women also help you do that at the best of your capacity, and to fuel your ambition. It's an unstoppable force.
yeah,
Women are underrated. Women, I wish, would understand their divine role. Men as well, and because they don't, and messes mainly like our generation, it messes so many of them up.
yeah.
It troubles me.
Let me ask you this, Reggie. What's the best thing about being a father?
The best thing about being a father, or one of my favorite things, is when I come home from work and then I see that my kids at the window, excited to see me come in the door. No matter the kind of day that I had, changes it instantly. Being able to show them that I love them, and being able to teach them the things that they need throughout their life, being there for them, being able to provide for them. that brings me joy. Seeing them out, that brings me joy. Being able to be a figure in our life, that pillar for them, it really does change you. It's the best part about being like the pinnacle of like manhood is being a father. Like where you the best role you can occupy is not like some
Is there
CEO.
anything that matches it? Is there anything that matches that feeling? Does winning a fight matches it?
Not even winning a fight. Honestly, no.
Yeah,
Not even winning that euphoric feeling of feel from winning a fight. It doesn't compare to it. I love being a dad, and it's made me all the better.
that's cool, dude. I think we need more of that of young guys, and not only getting married, which I do also have a problem with that, and maybe not where you live, but at least here in the Utah culture, that is getting married so promoted. But then we have a lot of guys that are not leaders, where they can't even protect themselves or whatever, getting in marriages because they think is what they should do. Which, yeah, you should do that, but
Real,
also you should prepare for that and
exactly.
become somebody that there's a whole different ball game being married versus having a quality marriage. Like it's
Real,
like same thing saying, "Oh, I'm an MMA fighter" versus being a good MMA fighter. It's a whole experience.
real. So true.
Which a lot of people can claim the title or say the event. Oh, I had these five, but dude, you got your butt kicked. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't even.
you look at the footage. Oh,
Yeah, you looked horrible. So, but I agree with you. I think, dude, it's very sad how. Well, number one, back in the day, like 80, 90% of the population in the U.S. were believing Christ and God. Now it's less than 45%. We live in our generation that people are not having more kids. They're not getting married. You know, a really statistic that really surprises me, because I do talk a lot about politics and policies. And there's about 47,000 people that die because of guns, mass shootings, school shootings, and stuff like that a year. But you know what's the highest death in America? It's not actual caused by guns or anything.
it's gotta be abortion. I'm thinking
It's abortion, which is 1,030,000 a year, which is
yearly.
insane. Yearly. 2024 was 1 million babies. And this is the saddest part, because, and I'm not just trying to make it politics in our conversation or whatever, but I'm
No,
just talking about the importance of family and having kids, which is the most beautiful thing in the world. Because people will argue, and women will argue and be like, yeah, but dude, what about rape and incest? I'm like, you know that rape, incest, and the mother of the life of the mother in danger is less than 0.9% of
right.
those cases a year?
And they try to use that to justify all of it.
Reggie,
You can't.
2024, of 1 million abortions, 0.9%, less than 0.9% were cases out of those three causes. 0.9. I'm not saying 50%, 20%,
Point
not even
nine.
10%, not even 1%. It's less than 0.9%.
Mm.
And people that, women that have been raped or their lives are in danger, 50% of those women decide to actually have the kid, which is insane. But why am I mentioning that? Because we live in a generation that women and guys, they think that having kids is a burden. They would rather hoe around or go to parties and
It's
sleep
crazy.
with different women or travel and have fun because they think that's freedom. But they miss out on the joy of life, which is relationships, which is connection.
Exactly. They look out into the world thinking it will bring them satisfaction, the parties, the trips out.
Dude, it's
And
insane. I'm so thankful for this document that the church, the President Hinckley wrote in 1995, which is like 25 plus years ago, almost 30 years.
visionary.
A visionary, yeah. Talk about prophets and what they can see in the future. But like I had this girl that I posted on my Instagram today. She was literally saying, "Hey, dude, you know what? My daughter is 7 years old, but I'm gonna give her for adoption because I want to buy an RV, sell my house, and start traveling, enjoy my life." And I'm like, dude, it's so sad. And I think she actually gave her away to adoption. So God bless her heart, and hopefully
That's a better option than killing them.
yeah.
Goodness.
I mean, you can't kill a 7-year-old. That's murder. But
That's true.
I mean, abortion is still murder regardless. But I'm saying that people just don't want to have kids, dude. I forgot who said this quote, but it goes, "There's no worldly success that will ever replace the failure at the home.
Amen.
I don't know who said that. And I'm not also justifying that you can be a failure in the world by just being successful at the house, because you got to do both.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But I think having kids and having a family, dude, it's the coolest thing. And
It really is.
what is one thing that you learn about yourself as being a dad?
I think it's helped me understand that that I'm not just a random passerby in the universe, that someone does actually care for me. Because before, I'm gonna be honest, while I'm doing these things now, it wasn't always on my mind. I thought about playing. I thought about going to college to play football, but in high school, they were like, Reggie, can you please play your senior year? We're gonna start you at safety. I was like, I don't want to do it. I was lazy. I didn't want to do anything. And I think it helped me realize that there is more for you to do, and you have a purpose to fulfill your role as a man, as a son of God. Do something with your life. So it's helped me realize that I have divine potential, but more so that God like actually loves me. I'm not just a speck of dust in the universe. I am more than that. And being a father has taught me that. And I hope to instill that in my kids.
How did you find your purpose? For sure, having kids has helped you figure that out, but how would you say overall, MMA fighter, husband, father, athlete, follower of Christ, all these different identities that we have, how were you able to find your purpose of why you're here and what you're here to accomplish with your story, with your life, with your fruits, with your decisions, with your faith, with everything?
But I've never really thought of that. Um, I don't want to go back to the plan of salvation to really like tie it in.
Oh, go for it.
Go for it. But I really do think of the plan of salvation while it's literally the plan of happiness, and how God wants to allow me to become like Him. And while it's not just a personal matter, while it's a family matter. And
Yeah.
I can achieve that with my wife, and I can also help my kids get there. It's if it honestly, if not for the church and for the gospel of Jesus Christ, I'm not sure I would be doing anything in my life. And but that sounds sad. I think it's true. I probably would not be fighting.
Why?
If I didn't believe.
Why?
I mean, I wasn't before. I didn't get back into MMA until my 20s. I was training, yeah, but it wasn't something I thought seriously about doing. I just didn't have a passion to really want to go do it until I did.
Yeah.
And that came along with me being in a temple, being a father, being a good husband. I was like, I don't want to be a guy sitting at a desk for the rest of my life doing computer stuff. I don't want to just be that. I want to be more. The finding and learning that I can be more because of God, it made me want to go do more. I didn't feel like I was doing. I don't feel like I was living up to my potential. Waking up every morning, driving to a mill, helping people with beers, or and repeat. While I love being able to provide for my family, I just felt like, man, I could be so much more.
Yeah.
So I went going.
That's cool, dude. That's really cool. Changing the topics, Reggie, I have another question for you. What's your
Yes.
take on, since you got baptized when you were 18, you were Baptist, you said Presbyterian too?
Well, I was more so exploring that. The only place I would say I actually was Baptist.
Okay, but you're exploring certain religions and faiths and stuff. What's your take on everything that you see? Because I think there's a huge attack on the Church of Jesus Christ, LDS people, and there are beliefs coming from a bunch of different pastors that they're occult or temples, holy stuff, and our doctrine of, which is, this stuff really pisses me off, which is the Trinity. They think that God, Christ, and the Spirit, they're the same. When I'm like, dude, it's just that just right there it's the most dumb belief and confused thing you can possibly have, because then they deny all the other 50 or 60, 70% of scriptures in the New Testament. When Christ is talking about his father, he got baptized and the father came, he's like, this is my son. So he's like, they're different people. Like you can tell. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel, and what's your take on all this attack that you see coming to the doctrine of the church from other different denominations?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times I see the attacks on the church. I hate how we're constantly the ones playing defense versus being like,
Playing offense?
make sense of the stuff that you believe, because
Mm.
you believe that when you actually get down to it, they just say we try to make them make sense of it. It's just the mystery of this. It's the mysterious nature of the Trinity, dude. I don't think Jesus Christ intended for his doctrine to be that convoluted, and I think himself made it very clear. The Father says the Father knows. I don't. Jesus didn't know things that the Father does about the second coming. And Jesus Christ also says that his God, like he makes clear distinctions of it. So when
Yeah.
people say stuff like that, like, also when he's praying, who is he praying to? He also says clearly, pray to the Father in my name, making a clear distinction between him and himself.
Yeah.
And when they try to conflate, then it's oh yeah, so there are three persons, but there's just one substance. I'm just like, dog, what does that mean?
Well, it just doesn't make any sense. Like
It
I've
doesn't.
studied a lot of history. All those beliefs of Christianity can come from Council of Nicaea 340 after Christ, and
Mm-hmm.
what Constantine believed with all the clergy, and they were like, "All right, guys, what do we believe? All right, let's
And
friggin'
the
God, Christ."
councils of Nicaea, right? The only people who believed otherwise were then from there deemed heretics. And a lot of people who would say because they are that they are in hell. Why is it that a vote had to be conducted on this, and then all of a sudden you're a heretic now because a
Well,
vote
dude,
was conducted? And it's
it's
just like
like
this
when
makes no
when
sense to me.
it's like when people talk about that there wasn't an apostasy or there wasn't a falling away, and I'm like, dude, read the letters from Paul to the churches. Like these guys were already corrupting everything. Like they were going back to the law of Moses. They were already going back to homosexual stuff. They were already changing and preaching a different doctrine. And Paul was like, dude, what the heck are you guys doing? So he's like, while the apostles were there, like, what would you expect while they actually killed the people, the apostles? What do you think is going to happen? Like,
Exactly.
make it make sense. So it's just funny, but I think it's a big thing. And dude, I'm excited for your future and see once you start gaining, which I know for a fact you will, if you continue committing and taking this very seriously and having the right mindset and you continue on this path, you're gonna start getting more traction. You're gonna
Mhm.
start getting more views. You're gonna start getting a bigger platform,
Uh,
and your faith is gonna be part of it. And I'm really excited to see that and
yeah.
how you're gonna be able to be a light in a world that is filled with darkness. And I think you have an amazing story too. So that's something that just getting to know you and talking to you, I'm like, dude, that's gonna be like I can see that. Like I can see this LDS kid with a great story and talking about these stuff in a sport that and we need good people in that sport too. I
Yeah.
think there's a bunch of
That's one thing I do
interesting
want.
guys.
That's the one thing for sure I want at the end of it. At the end of the day, while yes, I want to be known as a great fighter, but also when people talk about me, if it gets to that point, I want them to also be like, "Yo, this guy was also a great example of Jesus Christ."
Yeah.
I want them to be able to say that about me,
Yeah.
and for people to look at different like athletes within our church. I want them to be able to like, "Oh yeah, that's Reggie Amerson." I want that. I want that to be able to happen. I want I also want young men as well to realize, nah, dude, you got to be raw. You got to be willing to fight. You got to be strong.
Yeah.
Like, actually, I'm glad you think. I'm glad you want to be a peacemaker, but like, what is that actually?
Yeah.
Can you establish that? Are you willing to be able to do that? I want them to actually think about these stuff seriously. So one day, if we get there, it'd be a blessing.
Let me ask you my last questions, Reggie,
Sure.
and kind of like playing devil's advocate here. What do you think makes you different? Because that's a very audacious goal you have. Like being first number one saying UFC. the cutoff. How many guys compete in MMA, fight, and don't make it, or they keep
True.
continuing and they don't get there. And then one in not only to make it in the UFC, have the title and the shirt and the sponsors and everything, but also being a ranked fighter and winning championships and being at the top of the top level. Why do you think you have what it takes? Why do you think it could be you? Why do you think you can stand out? Why you?
Well, other than just being willing to do it, I'm willing to, I don't want to say die for it. When it comes to the kind of person that, when it comes to training and where I am in the octagon, I'm not just thinking how I can get the one up in a fight. I'm thinking how I can end that in someone's life in an octagon. I think my mindset when it comes to fighting is a little different. And I look at my situation and I think of the uniqueness that comes with it and how I could possibly use that to my advantage, not just with training, or why I could possibly use it towards other sponsorship opportunities. Because you have, not to say to use it as leverage to get into certain positions in certain organizations or fights, because there's people who do leverage how well known they are, how popular they are, to gain traction for them to win or get title fight. I don't want to do it because I think I'm better than people personality wise. I'm also showing while I am that I can whoop their ass. Frankly, I want that to be well known.
Well, you need both. You
True.
need. We live in, especially in sports, especially in MMA, that being good is not enough. You also need to be entertaining.
Exactly.
You need to be a showman.
For example, Leon Edwards. No one talks about him anymore.
Dude, I hate that dude.
He was
that
the welterweight champion.
I do not like that guy.
No one's talking about Leon now. It's just like, bro, what happened to him? While he was, sure, you could say he's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. No showmanship. None of it. Nothing. When you think about Leon Edwards, you don't think about personality. None of that. I think he's a great human being. Sure, right. But
yeah, but he's not that good though.
No one wants to watch him fight.
No, he's boring to watch.
No one wants to watch him fight. So there is a certain element you have to bring in to your fights. Someone who did it perfectly. Ilya Topuria, dude, he still has more submission wins than he has knockout. But people know him as a knockout artist.
Yeah.
He understood, well, this is a show. The way he talks, he backs it up. And I think a lot of the time that's what helped people propel them into situations. You had to have confidence in this kind of thing. And as a dude with one arm, if I lack confidence, I will not get far. So there's easy enough amount of people to be like, you shouldn't be here. You should not be fighting. I'm just like, no, you're retarded. Fight me. Come beat me up then. How about you say I don't belong here? How about I show you? How about I slap you in the mouth? So
I love it, dude. I think, because I ask a lot of guys that are pretty dang good. There's a lot of couple guys here in Utah that are undefeated and they're on a winning streak and like knockouts and stuff and first round. And I'm like, dude, are you gonna make it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And yeah, like I want to win, whatever, I want to compete. I'm like, well, you got to do the other side, social media. It's like, I don't want to do. I'm like, dude, you will never be great if you cannot do both.
You gotta. I'm I'm lazy with it, but I know I gotta. When it came to politics, I wasn't in a whole lot. I gotta bring that same enthusiasm to my fight stuff. So I know I gotta be able to like broadcast it a bit more. While it's a little harder because MMA is a bit smaller than MMA. I mean, politics is bigger. Everyone talks about politics in some capacity, so everyone kind of knows, right? But MMA is a smaller, so it takes a bit of time. But also, I think exposure is easier. I'm taking it step by step, looking at opportunities in certain promotions, things I can use to get me in the right direction in terms of exposure. It is definitely something I'm thinking about, but I also want to make sure I'm keeping the same energy I have in my fights, the aggression, the ability to finish a fight however I think is necessary. If I need to knock a guy out, I can get it done. If I need to do it via submission, I can get it done. Constantly evolving my game. I can't just rely on simple tools, right?
Yep.
Gotta keep growing as a fighter.
But no, dude, I think having both is key. I remember I went to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
And when I saw this kid that just had a big mouth and is great at marketing and personal branding and has some skill. People like it or whatever. I genuinely am a huge fan of him. And when he made 40 million in one night, it really blew my mind.
Oh yeah,
Of, you know what, the power of marketing and having a strong platform and knowing how to promote yourself will take you far, even if you
that's
have the
true.
skills or not. Even if
That's
you have the
true.
skills. Now imagine if you have both.
That's true.
I think there's a lot of influence you can have in society, especially if you have a powerful message and a powerful story. And going back to welterweight, who's your favorite fighter?
All time or like just in general? I
Well,
think right now,
right now.
someone I'm enjoying to watch them fight. I think they're fun. Carlos Prates, he's fun to watch fight, right? I think
Okay.
watching him fight is cool. But if I had to say someone all time, I really like GSP. I love the way that he fought. He had a very mixed bag. He wasn't someone who was only gonna like wrestle you down and submit you. He could also knock you out. And he also came back. I remember came off the couch, retired, came back with Michael Bisping for like the middleweight title. Pretty cool, right? I think GSP is pretty cool. I love the way how he's not. I don't know if he's not gonna get the belt again. Probably not. But I love the way that he strikes, and I watched a lot of film on him. Israel Adesanya, his striking was fantastic, and I used a lot of it as well to learn from it. And along with that, I had to look at Pereira just to see how he throws his strikes. And I also keep in mind, like when I see people doing these spinning elbows, I'm like, I'm gonna use the nub. Just imagine, I'm gonna get it one day. I'm gonna either get a spinning elbow with the nub, or is it straight up nub strike up top and knock someone out cold. I'm gonna keep pushing that like crazy. I just need to picture perfect one day to
Can you
nub knock out.
practice it? How you practice it?
Oh, I mean, I throw on those like I usually when I'll box. I'll throw on boxing gloves just the same way. And the only difference is when I turn to MMA setting, instead of me throwing it more straight, that's just straight blade all up there.
How do they? Because it's right on your elbow.
So as a little pass, I have elbow, and then there's like a little bit above, like I don't know how much hand have elbow there.
Okay.
But that little bit of leverage is like all the difference.
But they don't tell you that you got to use like some sort of glove in that area, like some sort of padding, because you're like just full knuckle type of thing.
Only time I have to wear any kind of like gloves is if I'm doing like a kickboxing or a boxing match. But if not,
dude, I saw I did kickboxing fight, and you're with the gloves, and you're like swinging the thing.
Well, I think it was like I think he slipped underneath the nub, and it was like uppercut, and I'm following up strikes.
No, that is great, dude. I was like, I freaking love it, dude.
It throws people off because they just don't expect me to swing with it. So when they get hit a lot, and it's all the time when I'm going to a new gym and training, and they're just like, if they're not aware of me from the area, it's like, why is this one arm dude up in here? And they try to spar. I mean, they'll circle to my left side, and they're like, wait a minute, he swings with it. So yeah, I train it. I train it heavy. So whenever the opportunity comes, I need to lay someone out with it because they're circling too far to my left. I'm just gonna step in and lean hard on my nuts.
Can you still choke? Can you still do like a rear naked choke?
Yeah. And that's how I won my first fight. And the thing is with the rear naked choke, they tell you to fight the hand, right? But if I lock in nub side, the hand that they're fighting is not there.
So they're used to it.
So yeah, I lock in, grab the nub, rear naked choke, and then there's no hand for them to fight. They're pulling at my nub, and it's like it's just not gonna work now. Rear naked choke is literally my favorite submission for that reason. You tell you to fight the hands, there's no hand. There's no hand to fight here on the side. when you fight one hand, it's not happening. It's just it's not happening.
Did you wrestle before? Do you have any background with wrestling, or you started with MMA just wrestling?
Other than me fighting in school and getting into many fights there, no. I want
to show it.
Street fighting. And then I actually when I went and did MMA, that's where I got more.
I need to pull up your video real quick, dude, because this thing is just hilarious. I was just looking at it today. Where is it? I just want to show it on the camera here. You're just like literally lifting this dude up. I'm like, dude, you're just.
I think you talking about my second fight. Jacob, yeah, that dude was talking extra crazy. So I was like,
was
yeah,
he?
I'm about to ragdoll this dude.
Oh, where is it, dude? I literally saw it today. I think it's this one. Let me see. Oh, there. I'm gonna put it on there. Look at this guy. Freaking you're like,
I was so mad at dude.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
You're lifting it. Oh, bro, that's insane. I freaking love it, dude. I freaking love it so much. Anyhow, bro, I love your story, dude. I just wish you nothing but the best. I'm a huge fan. When I saw you on Instagram and we started like DMing and connecting and I started watching your content, I'm like, dude, this kid has one arm, fights a sport I love, and he's LES, and now I know through this conversation that you're a dad, had 3 kids, married, and what you stand for, dude. I just, you're the type of guy that you need to get famous. You're the type of guy that a lot of the times, dude, I look at certain people and I'm like, dude, why are people making the wrong people famous? Like, we need Reggie. We need people like Reggie to have influence and a bigger platform, because and I just think you have a lot of good things to share and such a big light to share with the world. So I just wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, bro.
And with that being said, what would be your last message you want to leave us on this episode today, my brother?
Final message I would like to leave. Well, 1, follow God. Try your best to live up to the example of Jesus Christ. Go to the temple often. And one message I try to say after all my fights, I say, one hand or not, you're a fighter, go after it, keep fighting. And whatever that may be in your life, if you feel like you're not good enough or you feel like you're struggling a little too much, that you can't quite accomplish it, don't give up. If I can get into an octagon and whoop people with one arm, whatever challenge you got going on, you can handle it too.
Yeah. It's inspiring, dude. You're going to inspire me to get in the octagon. I'm scared, bro. I'm scared. I'm too pretty to get in the octagon, dude. I don't want my freaking nose to get messed up. Have you got a lot of injuries like face and stuff, or not really at all?
That's one thing my wife worries about all the time. She's worried I'm like my face gonna get weird and stuff. But even on my last fight, that's probably the strongest dude I fought. Dude hits hard. My nose was sore, but I literally I had a job interview at a different spot. This spot's making a whole bunch more money. The following Monday, I was like, if I get beat up, it's gonna be bad. My face will be all ugly. But nope, nothing. They hit hard, but it's like, I think.
Well, you're black, dude. You have the advantage that you can't even tell that the bruises in your freaking face, dude.
Like, I can hide the black eyes a little easier.
You can hide it.
Easy money.
Dude, I just wish you nothing but the best, bro. I appreciate your time, and
thank you.
And we'll be in touch. Stay after this when I finish this. But anyways, guys, if you like this episode, follow Reggie. Comment down in the comments what you guys learned, share with your friends, and this episode was a blast. So God bless you, brother, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.